The executive boardroom fell silent as Marcus Thornton, CEO of Thornton Industries, ended the quarterly meeting early. His mind wasn't on profit margins or market expansion. It was on the blind date his so-called friends had orchestrated for that evening. He'd overheard their conversation in the break room yesterday, laughing about how they'd set him up with someone completely wrong for him, someone they thought would be entertaining to watch him struggle through dinner with. Marcus was 34, a widower for 3 years, and father to 5-year-old Emma. His wife Sarah had died in a car accident, leaving him to navigate both fatherhood and running a multi-million-dollar company alone. His friends, colleagues, really, had been pestering him to start dating again. What he hadn't expected was for them to turn it into their personal entertainment. The woman they'd chosen was Elena Martinez, a kindergarten teacher at Emma's school. According to the snippets he'd heard, they thought it would be hilarious to watch the uptight CEO try to connect with someone so ordinary and simple. They'd painted her as naive, unsophisticated, probably starstruck by wealth, everything they assumed would make Marcus uncomfortable. They'd even placed bets on how quickly he'd end the date. What they didn't know was that Marcus had already met Elena. In fact, he'd been hoping for months to find an excuse to ask her out. 6 months earlier, Emma had been struggling to adjust to kindergarten. She'd been withdrawn, crying every morning at drop-off, and Marcus had felt helpless. Then Elena became her teacher after the winter break. Within weeks, Emma transformed. She started talking about Miss Elena constantly, how she made learning fun, how she always listened, how she noticed when Emma was sad and knew just how to help. Marcus had attended the parent-teacher conference, expecting the usual clinical assessment. Instead, Elena had spoken about Emma with such genuine affection and insight that it had moved him nearly to tears. She understood his daughter's grief, her fear of losing another parent, her difficulty trusting new people. Elena had been working with Emma through art and storytelling, giving her safe ways to express her feelings. After that meeting, Marcus found himself volunteering for every school event, just to see Elena in action. He watched her calm, anxious children, celebrate small victories, and create a classroom environment that felt like magic. She remembered every child's interests, their families, their struggles. She brought books from home for students who loved specific topics. She stayed late to prepare special activities. She did all this on a teacher's salary, pouring her own money into supplies, asking for nothing in return. He'd been trying to work up the courage to ask her out for months. And now his colleagues had done it for him, as a joke. Marcus arrived at the restaurant early, a upscale Italian place downtown. He'd changed from his usual suit into dark jeans and a fitted navy sweater, wanting to look approachable rather than intimidating. He'd also brought something special in his jacket pocket. Something crazy, impulsive, something that would either be the best decision of his life or the most embarrassing. Elena arrived exactly on time, and Marcus's breath caught. She wore a simple red dress that somehow made her look both elegant and warm, her dark hair falling in soft waves around her shoulders. She looked nervous, clutching a small purse and glancing around the restaurant with wide eyes. Their eyes met, and Elena's expression shifted from nervousness to surprise to something that looked like disappointment. "Mr. Thornton," she said, approaching the table. "I didn't realize. I thought this was a blind date." "It is," he said, standing and pulling out her chair. "Or it was supposed to be. Elena, please sit. I need to tell you something." She sat hesitantly, and Marcus noticed her hands trembling slightly. Did Emma's friend's parents set this up? Because if this is about Emma, we could have just scheduled another conference. "This isn't about Emma," Marcus interrupted gently. "Well, it is, but not in the way you think. Elena, I need to be honest with you. Some people from my company arranged this date as a joke. They think you're beneath me, somehow. They expect me to be uncomfortable, to look down on you, to end the evening early. They're probably watching from the bar right now, waiting to laugh about it tomorrow." Elena's face flushed, and she started to stand. "I should go." "Please don't," Marcus said, his voice urgent. "Please. Because what they don't know, what they couldn't possibly understand, is that I've been trying to ask you out for 6 months. You're the person I think about when I'm stuck in traffic. You're the reason I volunteer for every school event. You're the last thing on my mind before I sleep and the first thing I think about when I wake up." Elena froze, her eyes wide. "What? You saved my daughter," Marcus said simply. "After Sarah died, Emma was drowning in grief, and I didn't know how to reach her. Then you came into her life, and you gave her back her smile. You gave her confidence and joy and hope. You did that with patience and creativity and love. Do you know what that means to a parent? Do you know what it means to me?" "I was just doing my job," Elena whispered. "No," Marcus shook his head. "You were doing so much more. I've seen you, Elena. I've seen you buy supplies with your own money. I've seen you stay late to talk with worried parents. I've seen you defend children who were being bullied, advocate for students who needed extra support, celebrate every tiny victory like it was monumental. You pour your whole heart into those kids, expecting nothing back except maybe their happiness." Elena's eyes were glistening now. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I need you to know that you're extraordinary," Marcus said. "And I need you to know that this isn't a joke to me. Those people over there think they're clever, setting up the rich CEO with the simple schoolteacher. They think we're from different worlds. They think I'll see you as beneath me. But the truth is, I look at you and see someone so far above me that I barely dare to hope you might give me a chance." "Marcus," Elena breathed, and hearing his first name from her lips made his heart race. "I know this is crazy," he continued, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. Elena gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. "I know we've never even been on a date. I know this is the most insane thing I've ever done. But I also know that I've never been more certain of anything in my life." "You can't be serious," Elena whispered, but she didn't look away from the box. "I'm completely serious," Marcus said, opening it to reveal a stunning but elegant ring, not ostentatious, but clearly valuable. "Elena Martinez, I'm not actually proposing marriage right now. But I'm proposing something almost as crazy. I'm proposing that we give this a real chance. Not a blind date joke. Not a trial run. A real, committed chance at building something together." "This is insane," Elena said, but there were tears streaming down her face now. "It is," Marcus agreed. "But losing Sarah taught me something. Life is short and unpredictable. When you find something real, something that matters, you don't waste time. You don't play games. You don't worry about what other people think or whether the timing is perfect. You just hold on with both hands and fight for it." "What if I'm not ready?" Elena asked. "What if I'm scared?" "Then we'll be scared together," Marcus said. "But Elena, I see how you look at Emma. I see how your face lights up when you talk about her progress. And I've noticed, God, I hope I'm not wrong about this, I've noticed how you look at me sometimes during school events. Like maybe, possibly, you might feel something too." Elena laughed through her tears. "You're not wrong. I've had the most inappropriate crush on you for months. I felt so guilty about it. You're Emma's father, and I'm her teacher, and I thought I was being so unprofessional. I tried so hard not to feel this way." "So stop trying," Marcus said. "Feel it being it with me. And let's show those people over there that they don't know anything about what matters in life." Elena glanced toward the bar where, sure enough, several of Marcus's colleagues were watching with drinks in hand, smirking at what they thought was an awkward disaster unfolding. "What are you proposing, exactly?" Elena asked, a smile playing at her lips now. "Put on the ring," Marcus said. "Let me tell them we're engaged. Let them think I've lost my mind. Let them gossip and speculate. Meanwhile, you and I will actually get to know each other properly. We'll date. We'll take Emma to the park. We'll have dinner as a family. We'll figure out if this feeling between us is as real as I think it is. And if it is, when it is, we'll make that engagement real." "And if it doesn't work out?" Elena asked. "Then we part as friends, and I'll still be grateful to you forever for everything you've given Emma," Marcus said. "But Elena, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to fall so deeply in love that in a year, we'll look back on this moment and laugh at how I proposed before our first kiss." Elena stared at him for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then, slowly, she extended her left hand across the table. "Put the ring on," she said softly. Marcus's hand shook as he slid the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. He'd asked Emma for help tracing one of Elena's rings during a school event, claiming it was for a surprise.
"Now kiss me," Elena whispered.
"Let's give them a real show." Marcus leaned across the table, cupping her face gently in his hands, and kissed her. It was soft and sweet and full of promise, and when they broke apart, Elena was smiling wider than he'd ever seen. "I can't believe I just got engaged on a first date," she said, laughing. "Technically, this is a blind date," Marcus pointed out. "We're making history." They heard a glass shatter at the bar. Marcus glanced over to see his colleagues staring in absolute shock, jaws dropped, drinks forgotten. "Should we go tell them?" Elena asked mischievously. "Let's order first," Marcus said, taking her hand across the table. "Let them sweat."
"Besides, I want to know everything about you."
"Your favorite books, your childhood dreams, your worst date before this one, whether you like pineapple on pizza." "I do, and I won't apologize for it," Elena declared.
"Perfect," Marcus grinned. "Emma will love that."
"She's team pineapple too." They ordered wine and pasta, and talked for 2 hours like they'd known each other forever. Marcus learned that Elena had grown up in a large, loud, loving family. That she'd wanted to be a teacher since she was 6 years old. That she volunteered at an animal shelter every weekend. That she wrote poetry but never showed anyone. That her favorite movie was The Princess Bride and she could quote it entirely from memory. Elena learned that Marcus had built his company from nothing after college. That he still missed his wife but was ready to love again. That he played guitar badly but enthusiastically. That he made Emma pancakes every Saturday morning in increasingly ridiculous shapes. That he donated millions to children's charities anonymously. That he valued kindness above everything else. Finally, as dessert arrived, one of Marcus's colleagues, David, the ringleader of the blind date joke, approached their table nervously. "Marcus, can I talk to you?" he asked, deliberately ignoring Elena. "Anything you can say to me, you can say to my fiancé," Marcus said coolly, emphasizing the last word. Elena squeezed his hand under the table. David's face went pale. "You're what?" "My fiancé," Marcus repeated. "Elena just agreed to marry me. We'll be sending out engagement announcements next week. I trust you and the others will be appropriately celebratory, considering you set us up. But this was supposed to be." David trailed off, realizing he couldn't finish that sentence without revealing the cruel joke. "Supposed to be what?" Marcus asked, his voice dangerously quiet. "Supposed to be humiliating? Supposed to prove that I'm too good for a kindergarten teacher? Supposed to be entertainment for you?" David looked sick. "Marcus, it wasn't like that." "It was exactly like that," Marcus said. "And here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow, you're going to apologize to Elena. You're going to donate $10,000 to her school's supply fund. And you're going to take a long, hard look at what kind of person you've become that you thought this was acceptable. Or you can start looking for a new job. Your choice." David stammered an apology and retreated quickly. Elena looked at Marcus with shining eyes. "My hero," she teased, but there was real emotion in her voice. "No," Marcus said seriously. "You're the hero, Elena. You save kids every single day. I just run a company. You make a real difference in the world." 6 months later, they made the engagement real. A year after that, they married in Elena's classroom, surrounded by flowers and children's artwork and all the people they loved. Emma was the flower girl, beaming with pride. And every year on their anniversary, they returned to that Italian restaurant for dinner, toasting to blind dates, second chances, and the beautiful life built when you choose love over fear, authenticity over appearances, and each other over everything else. The colleagues who'd set them up as a joke? They attended the wedding. Some genuinely happy for them. Others simply stunned. All of them changed by witnessing what happened when cruelty accidentally created something beautiful. Because sometimes, the universe has a sense of humor. Sometimes, the joke is on those who laugh at love. And sometimes, the best stories start with someone brave enough to say exactly what's in their heart. Consequences be damned.